you have an interest in horses and love learning more about horses, the horse industry, teaching, or even managing your own horse business, then you're in the right place. We would love you to join us on our mission, which is to improve the lives of horses around the world through the education of riders, handlers, and trainers. So get comfortable, listen in, and enjoy.
Hello everyone, I've got the pleasure of introducing you today to Debbie Burgermeister, who started a charity on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. The name of her charity is focused around horses and it's called Giddy Up Gold Coast. So Debbie's come from a corporate background and brings in a wealth of knowledge into the horse industry, but she's still well qualified as an instructor, both in the education field and the Equestrian Australia field. She's been involved in mental health and also been involved in small business. So with this unique combination, she's created this charity, which we're going to talk to her about. And I think Debbie's favourite quote is, Debbie, tell me a little bit about your favourite quote.
Live life to the fullest, I think, sums up everything that I try to achieve now. So basically just, looking on the positive of everything.
Okay, that's great, Debbie. And you're saying, it's a very good quote. When did you first start and what inspired you to have this as your favourite quote?
Well, I suppose I've been running my riding school for 10 years and probably about 2 years ago when I got a redundancy in the corporate world and went, right, that's it, that's my passion, that's what I'm going to really focus on. This is what I love to do, and I'm going to try to just live with my horses and help others. And I realised why I have horses and what they mean in my life and what I'd like them to mean in other people's life.
Great. Okay, that's a very good one. So not only are you living life to the fullest, you're teaching others to live life to the fullest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Debbie, tell me about, because I know you've been involved with polocrosse as well, how did you start with horses? So what are your first memories of, having horses or riding or you tell me?
Yeah, little white Shetland called Beauty. Pretty much her from 2 years old. And yes, I was born into a horse family. Never remember not knowing how to ride. So yes, we went through pony club, showing, camp drafting, nearly every sport, but polocrosse is the one that we've always stuck with and played for 30 years, and my dad's 70 and still plays.
Debbie, you lived in Sydney, and I know you were involved with the Olympics and the Royal Easter Show. Tell me a little bit about the Olympic Games opening ceremony and what your part was in performing in there.
Yeah, the 2000 Olympic Games, we just saw an ad in, I think, the Australian Stock Horse magazine for Olympic fillers, and you didn't know what it was for, so you had to go and audition and show how well you could connect with your horse, and you could ride one-handed, carry a flag, go over things on the ground, and how well you could ride, but also your horse relationship as well. And then they picked 200 riders across Australia, and we had 2 to 3 boot camps at Scone, and then they culled it down to 120, which was how many of us were in the opening ceremony. And, it was the most exhilarating experience I've ever had. I mean, living in Sydney was very hyped and fun at the time, and it was very hush-hush what the opening ceremony was going to be, and we had to practice from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. every night leading up to the opening ceremony for 2 weeks.
Debbie, I know it was hush-hush. I actually volunteered at the Sydney Olympics, and I had tickets to the pre-show. Not the Olympic, not the opening ceremony, the pre-show. And we did.
The pre-show was probably the best one.
I heard that.
The crowd was amazing.
Yeah. And we were told we weren't allowed to, we couldn't tell anyone, we couldn't talk to anyone, we couldn't tell even anyone that was outside those people that were there. We couldn't talk to them about it. Even my cousin, we were staying at my cousin's place, we weren't allowed to tell them anything that was there. So it was very hush-hush. And what about the Royal Easter Show, the Stockman's Ride performer?
Yeah, that was fantastic. So after the opening ceremony, Williams sponsored a Stockman's Ride. It was very similar to the ceremony reenactment, and a lot of the opening ceremony performers pretty much got reinvited to do that. And it was the same thing, a smaller scale, but, a bit more fun and excitement to it. It was a little bit more relaxed.
Good.
And it was fantastic as well.
All right, Debbie, tell me now about your charity, Giddy Up Gold Coast, which is a name I absolutely love. It just explains that it's a fun horse, it still tells you it's a Gold Coast. How did you come up with that name?
Oh, I was actually at the Sport and Recreation Centre in town, and we were just chatting about grassroots sport.
Yes.
And I was telling them how I'd love to set up a charity to really promote grassroots and focus on mental health with horses. And my guy that developed this, Tim, started Park Run Gold Coast. And, he came up with it, and it just kind of stuck, and that's what it gave, that feeling of fun, and it's very clear of what it's about.
Mm-hmm. And how long's the charity been running now?
2 years now.
Okay. So what gave you the idea to have this specialisation within the horse industry?
Yeah, from having the riding school for so long, and being a horse riding business is really hard and tough. And I sort of questioned, is it worthwhile? Should I, keep going? Expenses are huge. A lady probably, when I started the riding school, her advice was don't do it. So because of it's a very hard industry. And there's always something going wrong with a horse, and vet bills are huge, vaccinations, etc., which people don't see that on business. But then I sort of went, well, why do I have the business? And, that amazing feeling. I'm so blessed to have horses, and so many people don't have horses. So many people love them, and I really would like to share it. I've had the most amazing life experiences. And one of my young girls wrote me a letter when she left. She was a student, then she helped at stables and gone off to uni now, and the letter just broke my heart. It was just amazing. And the story she wrote in it about what she learnt with me about life and about herself. I went, that's why I have horses, to share that feeling of freedom and feeling absolutely just switched off from the busyness and of our world, the technology, and mental health is a massive issue in our society, with 20% of Australians having mental health issues. It's huge. And because of the uniqueness of horses, I thought, no, that's why I've got my business now. It's great to promote the grassroots of horse riding, but I really want to help our communities and our schools with programs that can make a difference, something that I want to make a difference. A lot of people, want to do that in life.
Yeah, I can see here that your mission's to improve mental health in our community and reduce technology addiction through the charity Giddy Up Gold Coast, running horse day programs for schools and community groups. So, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, and I work with King's Christian College nearby, and we've run some good days with their students from the Chaplain area, with kids that just struggle with a similar social skills and feeling confident in life. So, it's such an amazing thing to put kids through if we can.
Now, if someone wants to start a charity with horses, or even start in the horse industry, what do you think are 3 core skills that you had when you first started that's kept you going and been able to make you successful? What do you think, or, the core skills that they need?
Yeah, I think obviously loving horses is one, because it's such a hard job. You've got to love what you're doing. And also you've got to be a business person. You really do have to make some hard decisions, and that's probably where early days I didn't make hard enough decisions and struggled. So really do have to have that business mind and business knowledge. And I suppose from the charity, and having a network around you is massive, where you can work with others. Applying for grants is a real skill. Takes a lot of time. So having the skills in that, or someone around you that can help you with that. Because with a charity, really, it's grants that can help you work with the community if you can go to them with something. So building a network and working with others, not by yourself.
Okay, that's good. Now, say someone's got charity, they're doing okay. what's going to make them the best? And, I know that you're saying you're on your way to becoming, excelling at it, really, really excelling at it. What do you think there are the skills that you need or the keys?
Communication, I think that's sort of in life really, but especially building relationships. Being a very personable person, you really have to, because you're a charity for a reason. You want to work with others, you want to work and help the community. So you really need to be able to build relationships and have that willingness to, I love the saying, what comes around goes around. So, if you're good in yourself and in your heart, and you can do the best that you can, whether it comes back equally to you, but it will come back one day to you. We learned that very much. So when we had 25-week preemie twins, and oh gosh, the help we had there for 3 months, we were in hospital from our stable hands, and
that's great.
Everyone that lived in our house and looked after the horses as well in hospital. So probably that it comes around goes around. Just do the best you can. It will come back one day.
And how old are your twins now, Debbie?
They're 7.
Okay. So keep you pretty busy as well.
Yes, that's right.
All right. And that's interesting that you're saying communication, building relationships. It sort of flows on from the core skills you need to then going on to the keys that you need to excel as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Tell me about a person who's influenced you and help you learn more about horses.
Firstly, definitely my dad. We grew up doing a lot of mastering on horses, just a lot of time in the saddle where you can chat and you can work through things with your horses, and then being able to break in my horse at a young age with my dad who could guide me. That's probably one big thing with horses as well, is having that person that can completely guide you when you're doing something with horses. You can read books to know tomorrow, but you've got to have that person who can help you, because horses are so risky if you don't know what you're doing. So, especially
breaking in horses at a young age, that's a big step. And if you haven't got someone to guide and mentor you, you can end up in a lot of trouble. Yeah, so that's good that he was around.
Yeah, and a lot of people do end up in a lot of trouble when they do things first off. My dad's been massive, and then putting me through really good. I've been in a very good pony club growing up, and for jumping lessons, I had an amazing jumping instructor, and then through work experience, I got the pleasure of working under a German lady at Bellinger, Ursula Lees, who worked me very hard, but gave me a lot of great skills with the German riding as well. So I've had some wonderful people influence my training career, and then moving more onto the as time's gone by, things have got softer with horses. So that's where Monty Roberts kind of inspired me with his books and his shows that he did in Sydney.
Okay. Yeah. You're going to listen to, it's not out yet, but you'll listen to a previous episode with Monty Roberts. So make sure
I'm looking forward to that.
Make sure you listen to that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What about horses? Have you got horses that influence you? I know about your Pony Beauty. Obviously had a big influence being your first pony, but after that?
Yeah, I had another pony after that, but then when I was 9, I've got a pony called Cassie. She was a quarter horse, 13 hand pony. And she had a lot of spice. She was on, and I got thrown off many a time, but she taught me so much. She was perfect in everything she did. We could win a hack class, and then we could go win a sporting race and a jumping competition, and the best on the polocrosse field in my junior days. So I've got oodles of ribbons and trophies from that pony. And then the most amazing things I used to do is that I have a strong memory of is just going for a ride on the property down to the river and sitting on a big granite rock and overlooking the river and taking my art book down and drawing and chatting to her for hours on end. And that's probably a very special memory I have on my own with my horse. And I think that's with your horses, they're the memories that you have when you've got that just one-on-one chat time.
And they're good listeners, aren't they? They're never going to argue. They just listen. They'll listen for hours. Yep.
Yep, the best in the world.
Yeah. And they'll keep it a secret. You can tell them the deepest secrets and they'll never, ever tell.
That's right. best for teenagers.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
Now, you've done quite a lot. You've, ridden in the opening ceremony at Brisbane. You've played polocrosse all over the place. You've ridden, in Sydney Royal at the Royal Easter Show. What's your proudest moment with horses?
I probably would say the Olympic opening ceremony for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably have to be the biggest buzz, I guess. And then probably I suppose when you're talking proud, with my horse riding school when we ran a massive big Christmas party and we put on a musical ride performance by the Olympics. We did a students' musical ride and a staff musical ride and all dressed up, and watching my students do that, it was just beautiful. And recently I taught my 7-year-old daughter with a girlfriend of hers to do a little ride routine, and just watching the achievement of that, it's just beautiful.
That's great. All right, now a training tip for people to improve their handling and riding skills. What's a tip for them to improve their own skills?
I think for starters, mentally, you've got to be right with horses. You've got to be strong and you have to be confident. So if you're going to go far with horses, you definitely need to have that confidence, that passion, and you have to want it. Like any sport, you've got to really want it and be able to conquer your fears and be able to stand strong with a horse, because they are such a big animal. The only way you're going to stay safe with a horse is to be able to have that mental confidence and strength. And then physically, you'd need to develop that strength to be able to ride properly. So I used to stand every day for about 5 minutes on a brick with my ankles on the ground, my toes up on the brick, just to get that stretch in my ankles and my calves. So I suppose that's the thing that makes your riding a lot easier when you've got that length.
Secure lower leg.
So,
yep.
Yeah, so that was probably the physical thing for sure.
What about if you've got a tip for someone who's, maybe not the most confident rider that would like to gain more confidence with their riding? What would you say to them?
I mean, for riding at saddle time, just getting hours
or
doing
handling
something.
Yep.
So handling I was actually talking to my husband about that last night. I said the biggest challenge with my students is confidence. It's until that's conquered, it's really hard to move someone forward. So I had an example just on Saturday, actually. It was just such a heartwarming thing. A week ago, I said, righto, she just was struggling. And I said, okay, every night you're going to go home before you go to sleep, you're going to shut your eyes and picture yourself doing this activity. So we were trying to learn to canter. So she did that. And when she turned up on Saturday, oh my gosh, she was a totally different young girl. And I had her cantering with no stirrups on this horse.
That's great.
Her dad was so encouraging. So, yeah, and we at the stables, we do a lot of helping with the stable work. So just being around the horses, helping them feed up, leading horses. I think it's just being around the horse. If you've got that opportunity to have someone that you can go and just be around, don't have to handle the horses, just be around them more and then move towards being able to do more stuff with them.
I was going to say the visualisation technique, it's absolutely brilliant. It's one that's used not just by teaching little tricks like, how to canter, but it's used by, top athletes. You always visualise a test before you go and do it. You always visualise a jumping course or an eventing course before you go out, But, it's a very good technique. What about a training tip to use for people to use with horses? Now, it may be that they could use this on a couple of different horses, but just something that's that they could use, a tip to use across a couple of different horses, something that you've got a special tip or a special technique or a special warm-up exercise that you like to use.
Probably the biggest thing has been for me is being in the Western world and having the English and the Western riding techniques. I learned a lot from Scott Keogh, where just really getting back to basics and working on the 4 parts of your horse. So understanding the neck, the shoulders, the ribs, the back legs. Something I've seen a lot in people with horses is horses getting very hard in the mouth and especially school horses, so they get so many mixed signals. But a lot of people have horses that they really do struggle to pull up. And the softening of the back legs is a huge skill. If that's worked on daily with your own horse, can make such a difference in when you're riding your horse to them responding, I suppose, is that getting the horse to respond to you nicely and loosening up their back legs. And it's a very simple little exercise of walking along a fence line and turning towards the fence and pushing their hind legs away from them and loosening up their hind legs. So probably understanding each part of the horse a little bit better when you're riding them is how do you make that part of the horse soften before you go and do whatever activity you're trying to do with your horse.
Yeah, and using the parts individually, not just turning, but thinking about each of the different parts. Yeah.
Yeah, warm-up exercise people don't do enough of.
All right. Now, have you got a book for our listeners that you'd like to recommend?
Yeah, so that's probably been part of my passion is for horse lover beginners. So I wrote a book called GG Talks Horse Riding Lessons for Beginners. And it's a great starting ground to be able to work through your horse riding. So it's not just a theory book, it's a book that steps you through each step of your horse journey on how to do things and gives you a workbook as well. And at the back, I've got a lot of parents that have always asked me, what's next? What's the next step? What's the the development plan? And in the back of that book, I have that outlined for parents. So it's a great parents' guide as well, so they know what their child should be achieving so that they are developing. A really good partnership book for the child and the parent.
And if people want a copy of this, Debbie, how can they get a copy?
Yeah, they can simply email if they like, or they can go to the website and purchase. So at the moment, that book can be found on any bookstore, Amazon, and then our website. They can. And
what's the website?
Go to? Yeah, so they can go to, and this is something that's getting bigger and better, but at the moment, so it's horseridinghub.com.au.
Good. All right.
And if they want to email, info@horseridinghub.com.au.
Okay. Debbie, what does your future hold now? What are you looking forward to? What projects are you working on?
With the mental health, working on getting connections with schools and trying to work on getting more funding so I can go to schools with funding to put more kids through our programs. And my biggest passion, helping people get started right with all the very basics when they want to move into the horse world of learning to ride horses. So the horseridinghub.com.au is about that. It's a membership program where you get the book included in your membership. You get a free lesson at your local centre, and there's real-time online availability for you to just book and pay. So it's about making that start with the horses easy and being very informative and education for the grassroots of our sport.
Good. All right. Now, just if you'd like to sum up a lesson today so people can take it away.
Something that I can, I suppose, inspires me is learning to have a relationship with your horse. And it can't just be on the ground. You've got to have that relationship on their back as well. There's a lot of people that are very fearful of riding their horses. So, it's having that all-round connection with your horse.
Good.
I think that's really it.
Okay. All right. That's a great lesson. And how can people contact you?
Yeah, the info@horseridinghub.com.au, or they can give us a call anytime on 075 66 77468, and then you'll always get the call answered if I'm busy, and then I can give you my mobile to get through to me if needed.
No worries, and we'll have those details on the show notes as well at horsechats.com. All right, thanks very much, Debbie. Good to talk to you.
Thanks, Glenys.
Remember that our comments and instructions are general in nature and do not take into consideration your individual horses or your individual ability and circumstances. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please leave your comment below.